What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Four Pillar Podcast. We stand for faith, family, fitness, and finance. And today we have Jack Fitzgerald. Did I say it? Pat, sorry, I don't know.
That's all right. We have beef with the Fitzgeralds.
Yeah, Jack Fitzpatrick. I was thinking of the Arizona Cardinals wide receiver.
Oh, good old Larry.
Yeah. But his name's Larry, though.
Mr. Dependable.
But so today, we have him coming in today. We're going to talk about some good stuff today. He is a college athlete and is on the grind with his own podcast, and just a very energetic and awesome guy here. So I'm excited to have him in. We can talk about some faith, family, fitness, and finance. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Jack? What you got going on, and you have the Red Dolphin podcast, which I don't let me. I need to ask you something about that too. But anyway, go ahead.
It's probably the same question I asked you on the 4th of July.
Oh heck yeah, I have it rehearsed then.
But go ahead, tell us about yourself, some of your athletic background, and your podcast you got going on right now.
Yeah, man. So I grew up in Fredericktown, Ohio, Knox County. Go Freddies. I played football 4 years there and really enjoyed it. Football, athletics, just in whole, were a big part of my life growing up and whatnot. I always knew I wanted to play at the next level. So then, getting the opportunity to play NAIA football with a great group of guys, great leadership, great coaches, and, just meet and talk with people kind of like led me into wanting to reach out and if you're going to talk to somebody, you may as well put a microphone up to you and learn more about it and put it out for more people to hear. That's what I thought. So if you already enjoy doing it, why not put a microphone, learn something for yourself, and then share it with others along the way. And, it's a lot of fun. I was thinking weed killing today, how cool it is, just all these people that I probably wouldn't have had an hour conversation with, just being like, hey, do you want to talk about you? And then you just learn so much vicariously or through examples and whatnot. It's just it's cool all the way around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then where did you play college ball at again? Yeah,
Olivet Nazarene, just south of Chicago in Bourbon, Illinois. Beautiful campus. Winters are absolutely terrible, but we call that tiger weather back in the football locker room.
Tiger weather.
Yeah. It's tigers hunt every day. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be raining or something, and our strength coach would be like,
"Were you guys the tigers?" Or
yeah.
Come out of nowhere?
No, we were the tigers, and our strength coach was like, "Guys, tigers might not get a kill every day, but they are hunting every single day." And
baby, I like that.
No, it was beautiful, and it got to a cool point because it got to the point where we kind of made a joke of it at first, oh, coach, tiger weather. But once you kind of make jokes at it and kind of say it again, you start to believe it, man.
Yeah.
In the COVID spring season that we had, NAIA played in the spring, and our first game was in Missouri, and I believe it was -2 degrees outside.
Judas Priest.
And we just said, Tiger weather, baby.
Tiger weather, baby.
We ended up winning that game 63-0. It was beautiful. One of the best games. You just remember forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So then your podcast, right? So
yes.
What does, I should have asked you this. You might have already told me, and I apologize if you did tell me. So what does the Red Dolphin stand for?
The Red Dolphin. Okay. So long story short, and then we'll go longer. We got the Red Dolphin is an aquatic creature, right?
Right.
The red dolphin doesn't exist.
The regular dolphin.
The regular dolphin, an aquatic creature, but you look up these videos of these dolphins, they're jumping out of the water. Okay, so they live in the water.
Right.
They jump in the air. They don't fly, man. They belong in that water. Then they stick their nose right back in their element. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it's kind of one of them dumb metaphors, but you're in your element. Sometimes you get out, but you got to stick your nose right back into it. And so the Red Dolphin part.
Dude, I like that. That's good. That's creative.
And but the probably the most honest story of it was, when I was thinking about making a podcast, I was like, I don't want to be one of these dudes that just talks about making a podcast forever. Right. I don't care what the name is. I just want to get something out fast. And, I said Red Dolphin so much in high school that I was just I'm just going to call it Red Dolphin Podcast.
Why did you say Red Dolphin so much in high school?
For the same reason. Yeah. Okay. Freshman year, we the freshmen had to wear red jerseys for football practice, and they called us Red Swarm. And I said, we're not Red Swarm, we're Red Dolphins. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So does your show, Ian calls this 4 pillars? Do you have something that your show always ends up talking about? Is there just kind of whatever every time you have someone new on?
Well, while I was at Olivet and had a lot of students, I would try to like figure out people's majors or like their faith and how it like led them to Olivet. I had some professors on, talking about relationships. I think the number one thing is just people like in the 20s range, you know what I'm saying? Or like college age. Like if you're on social media, you don't have to scroll hard to like find some like nasty stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like I wanted to kind of give like some outreach to maybe a kid who's deciding to go to college, what their major would look like, maybe some of the challenges and blessings that come with being at a Christian school. And then like also like personality based, like there's been a couple episodes with my guys where we just like talk about whatever. And like I don't want to lose that side of me as far as like, being a professional school and everything, but like, at the end of the day we're all guys, So
Right.
I like just talking with my guys every once in a while in there too.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I think that's what kind of, I guess, maybe generates good conversation or something as well. I mean, look at the Joe Rogan show or whatever. Yeah, they get like a bunch of like people that are super smart, and,
right.
But I mean, it's just talking about, just whatever. It's just interesting.
Right. The Rogan loopholes are always just so good.
Right.
He's just like such a good interviewer because like, he just is able to have conversations with these guests at the same time as like, talking about what they're specializing in.
Right. Yeah.
So is this something you're doing? Do you have a vision for this, or is it just for fun? Is this like, where do you see this going, and what do you want to get out of it?
Yeah, Honey Badger Matt. So, so I think like number one is just a lot of fun doing. I mean, I don't want to have. It sounds kind of like boring to say that I don't really have a long-term vision goal for. I mean, obviously, like it would be cool to like be a prominent like quote unquote influence, being full of myself if I were to say that, I feel like, but like just having a good show where you're well known. But at this point I just like taking it day by day. Everybody says that like it takes years and years to get there, so I don't really want to focus on the end goal and just like enjoy the process of doing it.
You do one a week?
I try to, I put that on my board as far as like discipline. Wednesday is going to be my upload day, so that's starting this Wednesday.
Matt and I do one a week, but it's like more my fault because I slack on posting. I get behind on posting them. Like after this, I think either today or tomorrow, I'm just literally gonna post like 5 of them. Because I mean, we literally have, this is gonna be like 6 or 7 or 8 in the hole or something like that.
That we haven't posted.
That we haven't posted.
This is news to Matt.
So like I'm literally gonna, I think I'm literally just gonna like I tried to like buffer them out and stuff. So, but I'm just like, screw it. We have so many of them. I'm just gonna be like, you can listen to our podcast all weekend long now. With 5 episodes.
Or they have a good variety to pick from of new releases. That's cool too.
So I'm just gonna bomb out like 5 of them probably tomorrow.
Yeah, man, it's like a home run derby, but like podcast.
Right.
Right. Get them all out right now.
So what else you got going on, Jack?
Yeah, so right now, it's also a weird transition phase, right? Hearing back and forth from a job and whatnot, and then in the meantime, you got to work. You can't be lazy. So I think number one is gym. I think everybody my age should be in the gym every day, and especially in my opinion on it is like,
how old are you?
23, just turned 23.
Just turned 23. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you're actually a super good representation of, right. Like this is obviously how I govern my life. Like I said, the faith, family, fitness, and finance. But I think you're an awesome representation of somebody that's like younger, that, at least that I see in you, that you kind of do like the same thing. If you don't, you don't see like those are like your things or whatever, but it seems like you have a really well balanced, especially for being a younger guy, very, very mature. And it seems like you're taking all those things. How do you, I guess what I'm essentially asking is, how do you, like, what made you want to balance those things and be kind of productive or engaged and all that stuff at such a young age?
Yeah, I think number one, I think kind of at a young age, you like striving to be in college athletics. Like, if you wanted to get to an end goal, you're gonna have to work to get to it. So, and not making everything in life about athletics, but like you kind of take that drive that you had to apply to, like, wanting to make it to college and play football, and then you kind of take that and you kind of apply it to the rest of your life. So I'm not sure how much I agree with how you do one thing's how you do everything, but I definitely do think like things rhyme. But then like getting in with a good group of guys, like I mentioned, my coaching staff, all of that, absolutely blessing. Like I love those guys so much, lifelong friends and whatnot. Like just them, like pounding into your brain every single day that, like, going 1-0 with a situation, you might take an L. You got to bounce back. Like, it doesn't matter how big or small. Like, the scale is just the same across the board. You either win or you lose. Very objective, like, measurement. But then, like, everything also kind of comes down to feelings in life, in my opinion, because people always say, like, facts don't care about your feelings. That's completely true. But, like, why do people go out and get money? Well, it's so their family can feel safe, so you can provide. So it comes down to that. But, like, when you're in the groove of, like, being unproductive or not trying to, like, better yourself, like, you kind of get in this place where you're just like, what am I doing? And it's not rewarding. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, nothing comes rewarding without, like, actually putting in the work. So you have to, like, earn your purpose to, like, be the person you are. So I think, it's one of those things where if you just ditched it all, then you'd just be so lost. And then, like, I don't want to be in that place. And I think I would like to think that my purpose in life is bigger than just, going through the motions on it. But it's kind of a long end. Did I answer your question?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Did you have something? I have a follow-up question,
ahead.
But no, you go ahead. I just forgot what I was going to ask when you said that. Did you have something?
You were talking about how mature he was. I was just going to tell a story. I ran into him at the movie theater. This was a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
Him and his mom were going to see the Jesus movie. What's that? Jesus Revolution.
Yeah.
With his mom on a Friday night. Me, Lisa, and Casey were going to see Cocaine Bear.
I thought that was so funny, man. I was like, you go, Matt. I had a guy. Was that movie any good?
No, it was awful.
Really? Did the bear actually do cocaine? Do narcotics?
In the movie, yeah.
Okay. Oh, really?
I'm not sure that happened in reality. My son was like, Dad, this is a true story. I'm like, I think it's a true story that the cocaine fell from a plane.
Okay.
And a bear got into it and, like, OD'd.
Oh,
But in this movie, he, like, went on a rampage for, like, 4 days and killed everybody in town.
Holy cow, dude. No shotguns worked on that thing or what?
Yeah. So while I'm going to watch Cocaine Bear, he's going to
watch a Jesus movie
with his mom on a Friday night. Yeah.
You're seeing Cocaine Bear. I'm watching movies with Mama Bear, man.
Yeah.
Love your mother.
So what's the number one thing that you've learned from sports then, or athletics?
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna sound like so. What's the word I'm looking for here? Redundant. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say dorky.
Oh yeah, I'm a little dorky. I'll admit that. But I mean, I think it just comes down to a basic principle of 1-0. Like, so many times, like, in interactions in work or, like, maybe some of your friends, like, people get tripped up over the easiest stuff. And, like, let's say it's a 4th and 2 and we don't get it. Like, okay, you can sit and you can pout about it, but, like, if you don't bring the energy up for your defense when they're going out on the field, then you're not helping anybody. Like, what's in the past is in the past. We say flush it, go 1-0. So, like, you get out whatever bad happened. It doesn't matter. You're on to the next. Because, like, if you really think about it, you would have to do something so astronomically bad to ruin your life in the snap of a finger. You know what I'm saying? It'd
be very hard. Even if something, well, I think it goes like the fear of, just the fear of the future or whatever. Essentially, that's where fear comes from, is the future of not knowing what's going to happen or worrying about something that may never happen. I mean, yeah, even some bad things that, potentially you're scared of that happen in your life, like exactly what you said. I mean, it's way harder than for your life to literally, implode like the submarine on going to the Titanic.
Oh gosh, man. Yeah.
but I mean, I think it's way harder for your life to explode, like what you're saying too. So,
yeah. Like,
that's with my son who's 12. He plays soccer, and if he's playing a good game, then his attitude and his effort is 100%. Right. The second he makes a bad play, it's throwing your head back, throwing the arms up, and he's like done. And it's like that play is going to affect the rest of the game. Yeah. It might affect his attitude, his effort. And I'm trying so hard to be like you just said, that play's over.
Right.
And now the rest of the team needs you for the next play.
Mm-hmm.
But you're complaining about a ref, or you got your head down, or you're pissed at yourself, and the game's still going on.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're down one player because
right.
It's just, you have to keep, and I think it's the same thing in life. Like, a bad day at work, whatever. It's like, you can sit there and dwell on it and whatever the case may be, but it's like, now you got to go home. Now you got your family, and now you just got to keep moving. You know?
And body language is a billboard too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I see more things on Instagram Reels about college coaches saying, I don't care about stats. I go to watch the game. I can teach them skills.
Mm-hmm.
I watch their body language. I watch how things are going when it's going good. How do they act when things are going bad? How do they treat their teammates? Like, that's what they're looking for. Everything else can be taught.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Right. And then like you kind of get like the other aspect of it. Like some dudes will like they hang their head on a bad practice, and I you know, I'm part of that crowd sometimes too. Like we've all been there down and whatnot, but like at the end of the day, like, you know, we were people blessed enough to go to college, continue our education, and we're sitting here mad because we had a bad practice or a bad game in a football game. It's like,
Right.
I mean, there's bigger things out there. You know what I'm saying, man?
Well, even if something bad happens in life, I mean, I was listening to Stoic quotes, whatever. I think it's from Socrates or Marcus Aurelius. Is like you're still blessed with having life. You're just you're still breathing. You're still alive. I mean, right? And even if something bad happens, like, you know, you can still be in this moment right now, embracing and experiencing what's going on currently in your life, and you still have that where other people don't.
Yeah, right.
You may not have it one day. So
have you seen that Jocko video? Good.
Yes, I love that.
Oh my gosh. I love playing that thing in the car with my family or whatnot. Just good. I'm like, yeah, man. You're right. Good. Like, you know, and people kind of like one time I said it to my mom, and it was like one of those things where it's just like, my siblings are like, why would you say that in situation? It's like, good, you know, like, what are you going to do about it? Good. And more time to prepare, more, you learn something firsthand, you know, that's another thing. I think, I mean, I'm a young amateur, I like to say, so like, you know, what do I really know? But like, live in real life, I think at this stage in my life, I'd rather learn that way than like, you know, through a book or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I'm glad you actually said that. I mean, I think I was kind of the same way as well. And I think no matter how much you read or do anything, life still hits you in the face, and you're going to learn that way anyway, anyway, whether you like it or not. Matt's even seen, I think you've been at the gym long enough. I mean, I've, you know, talked to him about it or whatever. Like, I mean, there's stuff like I studied or I had, you know, mentors and did stuff. And even with the business, I made mistakes on that. You know, I read like, you know, if you do X, Y, Z, you don't want to do X, Y, Z because then this is going to happen. And like, you know, I still did something or, you know, wasn't paying attention to something, and, you know, that happened. And then you make the mistake, you learn from it. It sucks, but you move on and you learn from it.
Oh yeah. Always refine. I think action before refinery. You know, who knows? I could be wrong. Like I said,
I think you're right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Always take the chance that I'm not, you know, 23 years old.
Right. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say, you mentioned earlier, you think everyone your age should be in the gym. Ian's talking about, you know, how it seems like you got everything together. Would you say you're kind of in the minority of your generation or your age, or do you think that's what most people are doing?
The big stereotype, right? If you talk to someone like Matt's age, right? Matt's like 72.
Never gets old.
But I mean, if you talk to like someone like Matt's age, or like the older generation, which
the stereotype, your generation has a certain stereotype, right?
Yeah, everybody's like, you know, is lazy, on drugs, or
sit at home in your mom's basement, play video games all day, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, do you actually see that with your? I'm not like, obviously every generation is going to have that group of people that are just not good people, obviously. But I mean, do you see that a lot with like your peers or?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is like, I mean, obviously the generation debate is, you know, there's great people in every generation. I'm not saying you guys said there wasn't, you know, but like,
well, technically we're actually in the same generation.
Oh, really?
I'm not that older than you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm only 28.
Oh, frick, man.
How old did you think I was?
I'm not going to say that.
It's like, you'd probably say I was like 35. Gosh dang it, Jack.
I mean, you see people every day kind of like wasting their potential. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It might be somebody that you're close with. It might be somebody that you're, you know, you just know from a class or whatnot. But, you know, for the most part, like being in good communities with people with a common goal in their career. Like, you know, I've been blessed enough to have really good friends that, you know, actually go out and take action. And I think the number one thing with like looking at like people my age is sometimes I don't think somebody's like nearly what they might think they are. But then like I kind of see them grow. Like a prime example, I had this college roommate, and at first I didn't think he was like as good as he thought he was, or like invested into the process that he thought he was. But like over time, you see these people like make actual, like they're putting in the work, and like they start to become like who they want to be. So I think number one is like, you don't really know like what somebody at my age would be like doing to improve, but like as soon as they start like going after it a while, you're like, holy cow. And I'm not saying I have all the answers either, you know what I'm saying? Like there's probably so much stuff that puts me in like bad demographic of like what my behavior is or whatnot, but you know, I would like to think that we, you know, the ones who are motivated and willing to take initiative are climbing more than the ones who are falling, but that might be a reality that's not true, you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe there's just maybe you got kids that are really pushing it right at a young age and going for it. And then you have this huge space and you got people on the other end of the spectrum are doing like absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just something that I don't know.
And then
never seen before. You know?
And then social media, you know, you guys know like the 10-80-10 rule.
You said 10-80-10?
Yeah.
I've not heard of that one.
I think Urban Meyer wrote a book about it, but it's like 10% of the people of any group of people are going to be exceptional. You're going to have the 80% that are, you know, just kind of like average. And then you have the 10 who are just like, you know, the low life. So the thing with the internet is you get a lot of people in the 10 group who are dragging the people from the 80 group down. And so then they feed into like all this negativity or like, because essentially on the internet, everybody has a voice that can be heard equally. And that's up for debate. We all know,
yeah.
You know, but like, you know, some people and these people just drag with these negative thoughts or like think they get gratification and whatnot for saying something. And some people in the 80 group might come down and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to complain about that a little bit. And then you get all these people who end up like, just diminishing like who they are, their values, because you know the internet makes everybody so connected,
right?
You know,
connected.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that, quote unquote.
Yeah, I think too. We have a lot of people that will say like, "Oh, this world is like so bad, and there's so much negativity and stuff. And there's so much evil going on right now." And I think personally that there's no more evil in the world than there was 100 years ago.
Right.
The only difference is that we hear about it 24/7 from everywhere because anybody can now, you know, 100 years ago, you know, if someone killed somebody in Oklahoma at a bank robbery, you know, no one really probably knew about it except for maybe the local newspaper.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you know, it's all of a sudden everybody knows about every single little bad thing that ever happens.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the world's always been probably about as half as evil or whatever you want to call it. It's just we just hear about it more. And you know, well, I guess if you want to say it's unfortunate or not, I guess I don't know, but yeah, man.
Back in the day, you had to wait for that horse and buggy to come in town,
right?
With some leather belts from like Oklahoma or whatnot. You know,
yeah, my wife and I were talking about that. He said like everybody says, "Oh, this world's like so doomed or bad and stuff like that." And it's like, well, is it really, or is there really that much worse stuff going on? It's just 100 years ago, you just never heard about it all,
right?
Well, I think if you asked your dad, he would say 20 years ago that he would have said, oh, this is probably as bad as it can get. This world's going to hell in a handbasket, right? And his father would have said the same thing about his time. You know, that's never going to go away, right? I think there is the same amount of evil. I just think the evil's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, and people want to see that stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's looking with a big click on the headline, and it's, you know,
the clickbait.
Yeah, you know. Everybody wants to, or not everybody, but you know, a large majority of people, one would argue, want to see that kind of stuff, and then who knows, you know.
And that's pretty jacked up. If Matt, you don't go on Google and just look on mass school shooting headlines.
Oh gosh,
I don't go looking for it.
Yeah.
Try to stay away from that stuff. Like I had to delete TikTok, spending way too much time on there. You know.
What are your thoughts? That's a good lead into this with social media, right? Do you see like a lot of people getting like almost addicted to social media or overusing social media?
1,000%, man.
Because I almost feel like sometimes too the older generation is even worse sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Than that, like my dad or I'm sure he's going to love me sharing this.
Put him on blast, Ian. Let's go.
He's like, but I mean, even him, he's on Facebook and Instagram more than I am.
Oh, really?
Oh, 100%, dude. He's like, he like called me like, "Hey, did you see this guy that liked my jiu-jitsu technique that I posted?" I'm like, "What are you, like 16 years old?"
It's like all new to him. They're like, "Holy cow, man!" I always kidding.
But like for me, like me and Kylie, we don't what I call like scrolling on social media, right?
Mhm.
Like I purely only use social media for like 99% of the time is to post business content. I don't scroll because
Yeah.
you scroll, someone else is buying your time and no one else is
Right.
buying my time.
Buying the time. I like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put that on my notes after this.
yeah. Don't let anybody else buy your time, Jack.
Right. Be a producer, not a consumer.
Correct.
Produce.
Yeah.
And-
But anyway, I was going to ask you what your thoughts on that were.
Just as far as like social
Yeah,
media time.
like social media.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a drug, you know, the dopamine releases and everything. I will, well, in one aspect, like I think it's absolutely genius, right? Because like,
absolutely.
I mean, you get algorithms that give you exactly what you want to see. Like it already knows what you want to see. Like when you get on, you know what I'm saying? Like through the algorithm, or I don't even know how it works. I don't want to know how it works. But then like you kind of get to this point where you know, my buddy mentioned like, oh, I'll get on and like watch some inspirational stuff and whatnot. And my other buddy was like, yeah, but like how much of that do you actually retain? Because everything's like so fast paced and everything. You're just getting dopamine release after every scroll. And like sometimes I'll be scrolling and watching videos that like applies nothing to my life whatsoever.
Right.
You're just consuming random stuff that the algorithm feeds you. And you know, I'm not alone in this by any means. And it just kind of puts you stuck in this place of dopamine. And you know, I was blessed enough to have a buddy at college who deleted all social media. You wouldn't think he'd be the guy to do it either. He's like, I was scrolling on TikTok before class one time. He's like, dude, you're literally just like wasting. Like that provides no value for you right now, and you're like the peak age of yourself to like grow and get better and whatnot. I'm like, holy cow, man, you're kind of right, you know?
Yeah.
So it also sucks like watching people be on their phones and whatnot during lunches, and it's like, come on, man, you know?
Right. Yeah, what do you think with dating and stuff too? Do you notice that being like harder for like your age to date and stuff? Like I've been married for like 5 years now, so I don't.
Had a guy,
but
lifetime to go, baby.
Right? Yeah, I only got about 50 more years, but but anyway, like dating, you know, you see it as a problem with like, you know, people always be on their phones and just don't want to talk to one another and stuff like that.
I think it's more of a problem as far as just like you know, when it comes to dating, like. There's obviously going to be jealousy tendencies a lot, and like when you have the world at your fingertips, like that's a very sticky area for a lot of people, you know, like as far as trust or whatnot. So I think social media will magnify those issues, especially for people in my age group. Like how often I'm not, you guys probably like being removed from like my age a little bit, but like just hearing the stories at college of people like, oh, his girlfriend did this on social media and like whatnot. It's like, holy cow, man, like. I'm not sure. Like when I'm with my lady, like I'm not on my phone. Like I don't have a need to be. You know, it would almost be kind of rude. I mean, I'll check it every once in a while and whatnot, but
Sure.
for the most part, like you know, it's away. What I need most is in front of me. But you know, I think just with the world at your fingertips to begin with, it's like a huge distraction, and then you just put bad stuff in your brain. Some people like overthink situations, or you know, be a little more skeptical than they should. So it's just. I think it's a magnifier as far as like issues, you know what I'm saying? From like natural tendencies of like trust and whatnot, you know?
I thought you were kind of asking, is it hard to meet someone?
Well,
I would
meant-
think
I
it would
meant
make
that.
it easier to meet girls or guys or whatever. You were talking about in the actual relationship.
Both. I mean, the same thing, like say you're walking around college cafeteria, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess before you had a cell phone, you'd have to talk to people, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
now everybody's like on their phone. So like, you know,
now you find her on social media and you message her.
well, that's
She might be sitting 3 seats down from you at the table, but you have no idea.
but that's what I meant as far as, you know, does it affect that? Or
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, that was still a really good answer. What you were talking
I like
about.
I like you mentioning that because one time I had a buddy, you know, on campus. I think other people would attest to this. I would talk to anybody, bro. Anybody's in line. Hey, what's your name? What are you doing here? Whatever. Well, it got to the point where a buddy came up to me after I talked to this one girl, like just saying, hey, how are you? Whatever. Knew her by name, like passing basis. You know what I'm saying? My buddy's like, yo, somebody wants to know her name. Like, why does he want to know her name? He goes, he wants to like follow her on social media, like send her a DM. It's like, bro, she is right here in the cafeteria, dog.
Just go up and talk to her.
That's what I'm saying. And like, then like the filter effect, like if I was a girl, would you rather want, let's say you're a high value woman who's deserving of like a high value man, right? Like, would you rather want the guy who's in your DMs and DMing you and XYZ amount of other girls, or would you rather have the guy that takes the time come to you, say, hey, my name's so and so, how are you, whatever, and go on from there, kind of like build that little dance that kind of relationships have in like the attraction phase and whatnot. So yeah, it's terrible. And then the girls talk, what I'm saying, like amongst other girls, like, oh, what do you think about this guy? Oh, he was in my DMs a couple of weeks ago. Why are you DMing girls? There's receipts of it, everything, know. If you just go up and it's a bad experience, it's just hearsay of that sense. Like, oh, and then I really like him. Oh, what was he like? And it's like, well, he just said hi in his name. I just wasn't feeling it. Well, good, and leave it at that.
Right. I like that.
DMs, huh? Sliding into the DMs.
My gosh. Into the DMs. For kids my age, anybody at college around people, like, I don't think that's for them. But, people have found great.
I will ask you one thing, and my daughter talks about this. What is it like? My daughter will say, well, we're just talking. And I'll say, well, what does that mean? Well, he's not my boyfriend. Do you see anybody else? Do you talk to anybody else? Is there anybody else you like? No, I like him. Well, then you're dating. No, we're not dating. We're just talking. Like, I don't understand what that means.
Yeah. And I think my thoughts on that have kind of changed, like, once to college. I think, college or like high school talking, it's pretty much like exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like kind of like when I got into college, like most people are like, you're talking, but like you can talk to somebody else. The girl might get mad if she finds out, but like it's almost like a preset. Like couples who have been dating for like 2 weeks now have really been in a relationship for like months prior, just because they're like quote unquote getting to know each other and like I guess vetting and whatnot. Yeah. And there's so many different opinions on whether or not you should be exclusive if you're talking to somebody, or if you like, you should go out and.
Did you say vetting them?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Like a vetting process,
yeah,
like you kind of get to know what they're like.
People out and seeing.
Yeah. Well, it kind of also adds to the chase. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we're not dating yet, and then like maybe the girl might speculate, like, oh, when's he gonna ask me to be his girlfriend? You know what I mean? So it's not like you just get it right there and then. It's like, kind of like a couple cute dates, like the honeymoon phase. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like big old honeymoon phase, and you start dating, it like revamps a little bit. So.
I mean, I think the vetting process is essential. I mean, I had like literally that week I went out with Kylie. I went out with like 5 different girls that week.
Really?
Yeah, I want to find someone I like.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't date anybody, you're not going to find. You're not going to find what the personality.
I just never heard it put that way.
Like a vetting process.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the way
I had a checklist, baby.
That's what they would say kidding, before a draft. The NFL draft. They vetted these guys.
That's the high school coach
and personal private investigators out to find out what their character was all about, and what their past was all about.
Talk to your kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, like Ian said, like, I mean, that's valuable. And like, being in a relationship, we had a stage where we're apart during college, and like, we're free to go on dates. She went on dates, I went on dates with other people and whatnot. Like, find out what you want, and then you get back together. You kind of realize what's out there either was or wasn't worth it.
Were you guys dating from high school?
Yeah, we were dating from high school. Yeah.
That's cool. So how long have you been with Ashlyn, right?
Yeah. That's it. There were a lot of breaks in high school, but college we went, I'd say 1.5 years strong, I think. And then kind of like my sophomore, junior year, we weren't. And then my senior year, we got back together.
And there has to be some kind of, I would imagine, like whatever you guys did in the past while you were on that break, like you don't ever bring that up. You probably don't even ask about it.
Yeah,
I think none of your business, none of their business.
You have to.
Can't hold it against each other.
Yeah, because the minute that you like do one, there's things I don't want to know. I'm better off not knowing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to speak for anybody, but I'm sure a lot of people could attest that like time apart is time apart. And let's focus on the now. We're right here, right now, and so I think you can't give it the time of day. Like once apart, hey, leave it. And I'm not an expert, man. I can't stress that enough. Who knows? I could be wrong, but I like to think I'm right.
Yeah, neither of you need to know that stuff.
Yeah. Leave that.
All it would do is cause problems.
They know Jack by first name basis at the Foxhole.
What's that, bro? What's that? What? 314? Is that place even? Is that like a Knox County thing, or is that I
think it's a Knox County thing.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was just like nationwide jargon like that, or Midwest jargon, like that's just what people call
strip clubs the Foxhole.
Yeah. Like, because it seems like one of those things you see in a movie, like American Pie or something.
I don't know. It's probably just a Central Ohio thing. I assume there's not a national. Is there a national, like the Foxhole?
I don't know, bro.
I don't think it's a Mid Ohio thing. I think it's a Millwood thing.
It's good we don't know. We don't want the answers either, man.
Jack, how do you define success?
Oh gosh, man.
Deep question.
Yeah, I like this one, Ian. I think I'm going to dance with it a little bit. I think number one is feelings. I mean, it all about how. I mean, if you really want to define success for anybody, it's how they feel with themselves. And you can have somebody who's collecting trash all day. They're happy. They love it. They go home and let's say they want to drink beer all day after. If they're happy with that and they're content and they have absolutely zero drive to get out of that, then perhaps I would argue that, maybe they're successful in their mind. And it wouldn't, in their mind, I'm not saying that I think that they are.
He asked what you thought success was.
Okay. Me? I like that. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for the redirection.
You could say that guy's happy. I don't know if you'd call him. If he calls himself successful, I would question his sanity.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
No, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with picking up trash.
Not at all. Yeah,
I mean, maybe I guess you starting to go into per se, you have to look at the morals of or something else. I guess you could define as successful. Because I mean, you're right. Someone that makes $10 an hour picking up trash could be happier.
I didn't even take it as that's what he did for a living.
Oh, you're
I just took it that's what he went out and did for a hobby. And
hobby. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're talking, I mean, yes, that person has a job. He's providing for family.
Yeah.
I took it the wrong way. That person, I wouldn't say they're not successful.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess
I like your take too.
I guess then obviously the rest of that though is questionable if you said he drinks a 12-pack of beer every night or something. Is that successful or not? I mean, I guess essentially that is up to him still. But
yeah, well, for me, it would be living your best life. Like if you have any doubt at the end of the day, and not the doubt of always striving, because I mean, I guess if you're always hungry for more, you're never going to get it right now. So I think that would be Goggins.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It just almost seems hard. I'm not sure if I. For him, he loves that. He's about that. For me, that probably wouldn't be my vision of success as far as that overboard. So I guess with and you, I think you also as a man need to err on the side of you're not doing enough, but just knowing that you're using your purpose and putting your passion and purpose are different. You can be passionate about something, quit tomorrow. If you have a purpose for doing something, you're gonna keep going. But if you kind of just every day you gotta go out and be more. If you feel like you should be doing something, then do it and do it with the whole heart, and start to build some earned contentment.
Yeah.
But maybe I might need to review that because I don't think I'm well versed, and I'm glad you brought that up because I guess I need to redefine how I view my success because I don't like my answer there. I'll be honest.
Well, sure, I think it would depend on how you define that word first. I mean, a lot of people I think would say, well, I'm happy, so I'm successful.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how everybody would define it. I mean, I think, you get married someday and have kids. If we know each other 10, 15, 20 years from now, I'll ask you, how important is your happiness to you at all? How often do you think about your happiness versus what you got to go out and do in the world and your responsibility and making sure those those kids and your wife is happy. You might not even think about your happiness. But does that mean you're not successful? I mean,
or you might get your happiness from your kids being happy.
Right. That's what I mean. Right. But it's not. What I mean is, you're not thinking about your personal happiness before everybody else's, and having fun and making sure you get, all your needs and wants met. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's usually you get your happiness from fulfilling your responsibilities, which takes care of your family.
I like this discussion we got because there was a Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson debate on success, and Joe Rogan was talking to Jordan Peterson. He kind of had a unique twist on it. He was like, "Would you say like Donald Trump's successful?" And he was like, "No, he's not." And like the entire argument was based off of like Jordan Peterson's is like being successful is like being at one, being happy and whatnot. I could be butchering this completely too, but Joe Rogan was like, "Really? Like you don't think like Donald Trump is like successful to a degree in like worldly things?" And the debate there was, success between what you achieve in like your personal life and like how you are as a person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and Joe Rogan's saying, well, I mean, look, his wealth and everything he owns and blah, blah, blah. And like you were saying about David Goggins, I think you briefly said something about it being overboard or something.
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't want to live his life.
Well, right. I mean, maybe, and I don't know his personal life.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know if he has wife and kids and stuff. But I think what you were going at is having a balance of like, yeah, you want to kick ass at your job.
Oh, yeah.
But you also have your family. You also have your relationship with God. You also have your, it's having that balance of everything and maybe being very, very good at all those things.
4 pillars, baby.
Yeah.
There you go, man. I like that.
I wasn't going for the 4 pillars.
Well, right.
I mean, it sounds like you described it, right? Yeah. Family, God, spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's harder to find what success is because it can be on your own terms essentially too. What success is, right? To you, success could be having 1,000. It could be having 100 followers, like for your podcast, for example, right? To you, if you have 100 people that follow your podcast, that's successful, right?
Yeah.
But to someone else, if they don't have 10,000, that they're not successful until they get 10,000. So it's like,
and it might be like where you come from or where you started and what you had to overcome to get there. And you could look at someone's life and kind of dismiss them compared to the guy standing next to him. But we don't, maybe what that guy had to overcome to get there.
Yeah.
Was hugely successful.
Right. I think to be objective with the question, my definition of success would be I do have a long-term goal. I want to be the biggest donor to my alma mater's football team, like of all time, like literally build stadium, name it after some teammates I had, some coaches and whatnot, like, stadium press box, like that's a big goal. So if I'm going to be objective, I want to be able to give back to, Fredericktown football, Olivet football, like just so many ideas that like you're going to bed at night and you just think in your brain, like, you want to help more and more people. So I think that'll be my objective answer with it, with no subjectivity that would lead us on a rabbit trail of hours if we were to debate.
It's a pretty cool goal.
Thanks, man.
Pretty lofty.
Yeah. Either go big or go bigger.
What are you, as of right now, sitting here to put those names and buy that stadium and help Fredericktown? What are you going to do to get there?
Yeah, I think number one is get a solid career. I've been in the interview process, to get a good foot in the door and leave a good impression for the workforce wherever I may be. I'll be blessed to be where my feet are. And then I think number two is continue, having conversations, media brand. I don't like that word really either, but just connecting with the right people, and we'll see where it goes. So it's all long term. I forget who is it, Tony Robbins, who says you people tend to overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 to 10. So
absolutely, it's a marathon. Everything in life is a marathon.
But day by day, brick by brick. Yeah. Pick the axe, whatever you want to say.
Pick the axe.
I don't like that one. That's a rival school's
saying.
Okay.
Who's that?
IWU, Indiana Wesleyan.
Rival.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Hey, do you remember your game? It's probably your senior year. Ian does the play-by-play for East Knox.
Oh, yeah?
And
I didn't know that.
There was a East Knox Fredericktown game East Knox's quarterback got hurt, and a freshman went in. It was an away game. You guys were away.
Okay.
I
remember.
And it was like back and forth all night. Jack, is it your buddy
Jimmy
Nussbaum?
Yeah.
He was making plays on offense, on defense.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Do you remember that game?
Oh,
that was one of the best high school games I'd ever seen in my life.
Game.
Yeah.
I was the announcer for that game.
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was watching it in the press box.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I talked a lot of I said a lot in high school, I'll say that.
You talked a lot?
Oh, yeah,
on the
easily.
field?
Well, that game was so my sophomore year. It was when East Knox was kind of in their dog days of the program, like they weren't doing very great, and then they come in our sophomore year and they beat us. And like for the entire year, I was telling myself like we are not losing to this team whatsoever. Like written on the calendar, had a chain link fence on my door, like from 250 days out, and
Really?
writing names of players on each chain. And wake up in the morning, rip off the chain, look at the name. I'm like, I'm outworking this guy today. And so like. I remember after that game, somebody came up to one of my teammates came up to me. He said, "Jack, I think you could die right now. No, you lived a happy life." I was like, "Yeah, man."
Because you guys won, right?
Yeah, it was like it was a thriller,
dude. It was amazing.
Yeah, they had some really good players on there too. Some of the guys I'm like really good friends with now. Dawson David,
yeah,
he's a great guy, dude. Love him.
Yeah.
What's his name? That receiver, Knapp. Did you know him, Shane Knapp?
I know the name. I don't. If I saw him, I'm sure.
I think he was a couple years younger than you.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, high school sports just...
Did Nussbaum play anywhere?
No, he could have. He was
Yeah.
athletic enough to, but I think he went to MBNU, so I'm not sure what program he's in there now, but...
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. I text him every once in a while.
So to wrap it up here, what do you have any advice for anybody? Let's say like high school, college athletes, maybe even younger, that you'd give for advice that maybe something you learned that you wish you would have known when you were going through, playing ball from high school all the way through college. Yeah,
I think first and foremost, you have to it would be wise to consider that, showing up is quite literally half the battle. Being punctual just with everything you do, if you're going to say you're going to do something and going out and doing it, that puts you above so many people. Let's say you want to get in some extra work and you want to do 2 reps. Okay. Well, first of all, you just beat everybody who does not want to do any extra work. Mm-hmm. Well, if you put in 4 extra reps, now you're doing double the guy who showed up and did 2. If you do 8, you're doing double the guy who did double the guy who did 2. You're doing 2 cubed for all my math nerds out there of, the guy who didn't show up at all. So, being punctual and it's really a filter. If you're going to do something, if you're going to play out college athletics, you got to stick it out. And there's some people with some valid reasons that I've known, for stepping away from school and pursuing a career. But if you're going to show up and you're going to do college athletics, that first semester is going to be a grind. Fall camp's going to be a grind. That first time you're with the team, you're going to question like a lot of things. But if you can just like see past and stick through it and like want to finish, I think that's huge. I say all the time, we came in with like 50 guys for my recruiting class, and we graduated with like 13. So,
oh wow,
yeah, stick it through. It's fun too,
Yeah,
commit.
Go ahead, give yourself a shout out with your where can they find the Red Dolphin podcast?
Oh, Ian, you're gonna make me blush.
They can jump out of their element and get back into the element, baby.
Yeah, man. So Red Dolphin podcast Red Dolphin Pod on Instagram and Twitter. My personal Instagram accounts are Jack V Fitz, both on Instagram and Twitter. And then if you want to go to the good old interwebs, www.jackfitzmagic.com has some stuff that I post on there as well. And also feel free to email me anytime, jack@jackfitzmagic.com.
Jack Fitzmagic, I love it. If you believe it, you can achieve it. You can achieve it. And we'll see you in the gym soon. Thanks for listening.
Yo.
Give Jack a like or subscribe.